I'm Ed Rose, back with more tales from the Hilltop, and this is Citizen Kane. On this broadcast, available only on WXZY 101.7 FM, I chase little known facts and forgotten memories about the people and the events that have shaped the history of our town. This episode of Citizen Kane remembers when Cactus Jack, Polish Count Jerzy Potocki, Harry the Haberdasher, and a host of our nation's political heavyweights went on expedition in Elk County. According to the Pittsburgh Sun-Telegraph, at 5 a.m. on December 1, 1937, the 581 train out of Washington, D.C. arrived in St. Mary's, and a drowsy band of bigwigs debarked from two Pullmans and a lounge car. In all, 9 U.S. Democratic senators and 5 other top-ranking government officials, including U.S. Vice President John Nance Garner, who was first to alight from the train, descended on our region. Garner, clad in his new khaki outfit, red hunter's cap, and cowhide boots, and this gang of greenhorns were the honored guests of old-time Democrat Party leader and CEO of Spear Carbon, Colonel William Kaul, at his sprawling and well-stocked 10,000-acre estate near Wilcox. Located 12 miles north of St. Mary's up the Elk River, the Colonel's fenced hunting and fishing retreat was a playground for the rich and famous. New York Yankees teammates Lefty Gomez and Joe DiMaggio were repeat guests at Kaul's Woodland Paradise, named Trout Run, where even a city slicker on holiday could bag a deer. William Kaul became Colonel Kaul when he was appointed to a military commission by Pennsylvania Governor John Tenner in 1911 as a favor to his late father's business partner, longtime Democratic member of the U.S. House, James Knox Polk Hall of Center County. When the Colonel's father, Andrew Kaul, died in 1905, the local lumber and mining baron and future namesake of the St. Mary's Hospital left an estate valued at more than $10 million. A close friend of Colonel Kaul and a U.S. Senator from Pittsburgh, Joseph Guffey was the organizer of this hunting junket. Never one to leave a party empty-handed, Guffey was indicted for embezzlement in 1922 and offered the dubious defense that he did not hide $400,000 in accrued interest from the federal government. Rather, he was merely holding the money for safekeeping until his retirement. Despite owing a sincere debt of gratitude to Guffey for the honor of being invited to this exclusive adventure, fellow hunting party members had to shrug when the senator tagged a 4-point, 150-pound deer for his own. "That's my buck," Guffey explained when a dead deer was found and dragged out of the woods. The senator claimed to have fired several shots at a fleeing buck in the same vicinity a few hours earlier. According to Wikipedia, Vice President John Nance Garner earned his nickname Cactus Jack when he avidly supported the prickly pear cactus as the state flower of Texas. After becoming Speaker of the House in 1931, he announced his candidacy for president in 1932, but instead accepted the vice presidency along Franklin Roosevelt. As such, during his service to the public, Garner had the rare opportunity to preside over both houses of Congress. Having grown up in Uvalde, Texas, the vice president was an accomplished angler and was much more at home with a rifle and more adept at deer hunting than his companions. And unlike Senator Guffey, who took his prey under dubious circumstances, Garner felled his 4-point, 150-pound buck fair and square about 2 hours into the hunt. To steal a bit of glory from the vice president, the Kane Republican carried the headline, "Garner Gets a Buck, but Elk County natives give him little credit." The local Nimrods said the deer are too tame. They keep 'em tied up like cows. According to the Pittsburgh Sun-Telegraph, Colonel Kaul and the hunters denied the claim indignantly. One said, "The deer are just as wild here as anywhere else. And what difference does it make if they are tame? You still have to shoot them." According to the report, Garner needed 4 shots to bag his prized buck. Ever the self-promoter, Vice President Garner seized the moment with a graphic photo op. After dropping the buck, Garner said, "I'd like to have a picture of that deer on my shoulder." With that, 2 men hoisted the deer onto the vice presidential shoulder to memorialize the moment, while photographers' bulbs flashed. When reporters first reached the scene of the party, the Trout Run clubhouse, 6 deer had already been hung up as an impressive and convenient backdrop for the day's events. One reporter remarked, "Did they kill these already?" David L. Lawrence, Secretary of the Commonwealth and future governor of Pennsylvania, replied, "No, they were killed the day before by club members, people who know how to hunt." Count Jerzy Potocki was a genuine Polish noble captain of the cavalry, diplomat, and ambassador to the U.S., and a member of this elite hunting party. He was the grandson of Count Alfred Potocki, the minister-president of Austria, and Princess Maria Sangusko. Newspaper reports gave style credit to Count Potocki for his fancy European togs and jaunty Tyrolean cap, calling him a fashion plate Nimrod. Other members of this august group who were rewarded for their loyalty to FDR included Clyde Herring, a Michigan native and close confidant of Henry Ford, after he fixed his watch while working as a jeweler. He made a fortune selling Fords in Iowa, was a current U.S. Senator, and was only the 2nd Democrat to serve as governor of the Hawkeye State. Carl Atwood Hatch was a U.S. Senator from New Mexico who later became a district judge there. According to Wikipedia, he is best known today as the author of the Hatch Act of 1939 and 40, preventing certain restricted federal employees from engaging in specified political activity like fundraising. Additional VIPs in this entourage included George Radcliffe, U.S. Senator from Maryland, and Sherman Shea Minton, a U.S. Senator from Indiana who later became an Associate Justice of the U.S. Supreme Court. James Murray was a U.S. Senator from Montana and a liberal leader of the Democratic Party who backed FDR's New Deal programs to the hilt. Also on hand was the first-term senator from Missouri, who was elected in 1934. The former haberdasher in Kansas City, Harry S. Truman, would not gain national prominence until 1940 as chair of the Truman Committee, which was aimed at reducing waste and inefficiency in wartime contracts. For once, the buck did not stop with Harry. In fact, the colonel's wife presented Harry with a lemon tied to a string after hanging a cardboard gold star for marksmanship suspended by a red ribbon around Vice President Garner's neck. According to reports, the Missouri senator squeezed off 4 errant shots, flinching in his decisive moment. Truman was elected vice president in 1944. When FDR died in April of 1945, Harry took a seat in the big chair. According to Wikipedia, Harry Truman inherited the decision to use atomic weapons on Japan, ending World War II. Although he missed his mark as a deer hunter in the wilds of Pennsylvania, he is remembered as a strong president who gave him hell and refused to pass the buck. Colonel William Kaul's prime tract, known as Trout Run, eventually became part of the first official state game lands after Kaul died in 1948. It is adjacent to what today is Bendigo State Park. Well, that's all for this week, friends. Please send your comments and story ideas to citizenkanepa@gmail.com. And thank you for listening.